So there I was, standing in front of a 2,000-year-old toilet taking a selfie, when I thought, how did we go from this to arguing about pineapple on pizza? Ancient civilizations built insane stuff, you guys. And some of it, we still can't figure out how they did it. I'm talking rocks the size of your mum's SUV, stacked higher than your student debt, with no cranes, no trucks, and definitely no YouTube tutorials. Today on GoGo Travel, we're counting down 25 ancient ruins that prove our ancestors were absolute units. Stick around because number 1 involves aliens. Maybe. Probably not. But maybe. What's up, GoGo Travelers? Before we dive into today's archaeological deep dive, smash that subscribe button like you're a Mongol invading an ancient temple. Wait, too soon. We'll get there. Point is, you're about to see some jaw-dropping ruins, and trust me, your travel bucket list is about to get very expensive. Also, comment below which of these places you've visited, or which one you'd sell a kidney to see. Let's go. Kicking off our list at number 25, we've got Ayutthaya in Thailand. And friends, this place has had more drama than your group chat after someone says we should plan a trip. Founded around 1350. Yes, that's before the Renaissance. Before anyone thought tight pants were a good idea. Ayutthaya started as a military outpost. Basically the ancient equivalent of a fortress with a Starbucks. But it quickly became the place to be, serving as Thailand's capital for 400 years. Now here's where it gets spicy. In 1767, the Burmese showed up like, "Hey, nice city you got here," and then proceeded to burn the whole thing to the ground. Most of the buildings were made of wood, so yeah, not great for preservation. It's like that time I tried to save money by booking a hostel made entirely of cardboard. Spoiler, it rained. Only about 50 stone temples survived the fire, and honestly, they're stunning. You've got this incredible mix of Siamese, Sri Lankan, and Khmer architecture all mashed together like the best fusion restaurant you've ever been to. Pro tip, it's a super easy day trip from Bangkok, which means you can see ancient ruins and get some pad thai that'll ruin you for all other pad thai. Win-win. At number 24, we're heading to Stonehenge, England, aka that circle of rocks your aunt definitely has a fridge magnet of. Here's the thing about Stonehenge. It's over 5,000 years old. 5,000 years. That means people were stacking these absolute units of sandstone while the rest of the world was still figuring out if agriculture was going to be, like, a thing. And we still don't know exactly why they built it. Some archaeologists think it was for religious ceremonies. Others say it was an ancient calendar to track the sun and moon. Personally, I think it was the world's first music festival venue. I mean, look at it. Tell me people weren't gathering here for the ancient equivalent of Coachella, sacrificing goats to some sick lute solos. The most mind-blowing part, these stones were transported from Wales. Wales! Which is 140 miles away. No trucks, no wheels, just vibes and determination. Meanwhile, I can barely carry my groceries from the car to my apartment. You only need about 2 hours to see everything, so most people combine it with a trip to Bath or Windsor Castle. You know, just casual, I'm going to see 3 UNESCO World Heritage Sites before lunch kind of day. Overachievers. Coming in at number 23, we're staying closer to home with Mesa Verde in Colorado. And let me tell you, the ancestors of the Pueblo people were committed to having the best views. Picture this. It's the year 1200 AD. You're looking for a place to build your house. Most people would pick, I don't know, flat ground. But not these legends. They looked at a massive sandstone cliff and said, yeah, let's build there. Hundreds of feet up, in the side of a rock face. What could go wrong? Mesa Verde has 600 cliff dwellings. But the crown jewel is Cliff Palace. This isn't just a few rooms carved into the rock. We're talking 150 rooms and 23 sacred kivas, which are basically ceremonial underground chambers. It's the largest cliff dwelling in North America, and it's been chilling in that alcove for over 700 years, protected from rain, snow, and nosy tourists with selfie sticks. Here's the mystery though. After living there for about a century, they just left. abandoned the whole thing in the 13th century. Why? We don't really know. Maybe the drought got too intense. Maybe they got a better job offer in the valley. Maybe the Wi-Fi was terrible. Okay, probably that drought thing. If you visit, bring your hiking boots and your sense of adventure, because getting up there is no joke. But the views? Chef's kiss. Totally worth the cardio. At number 22, we've got Sigiriya in Sri Lanka, also known as Lion Rock, which sounds like a rejected name for a wrestling move, but is actually way cooler. Imagine carving an entire fortress into a 200-meter vertical rock face. That's like 65 stories. That's taller than most buildings you'll see in your city, and these folks did it in the 5th century with hand tools and dreams. This was the capital of King Kasapa's kingdom, and let me tell you, Kasapa did not do things halfway. At the top, there was a citadel, gorgeous frescoes on a mirror wall that would make Instagram influencers weep with envy, and a gateway shaped like an enormous lion, hence the name. Unfortunately, only the paws survive today, but back in the day, you literally walked through a lion's mouth to enter. Talk about an intimidation tactic. After the king died, the capital was abandoned and turned into a Buddhist monastery, because apparently when you have a sick cliff fortress, you either run a kingdom from it or achieve enlightenment. Those are the only two options. The climb to the top is absolutely brutal, not gonna lie. You'll question every life choice that brought you to this moment. But when you get up there and see those terraced gardens, cave shrines, and panoramic views, you'll forgive yourself for being so ambitious. Maybe. Number 21 brings us to Masada in Israel, and buckle up because this story is intense. Masada sits on a clifftop overlooking the Judean desert and the Dead Sea, which means the views are absolutely bonkers. Built thousands of years ago as King Herod's personal palace, because apparently being a king means you need a fortress on top of a mountain. This place had amenities that would make a modern spa jealous. Bathhouses, private swimming pools, the works. Herod was living his best life up there. But here's where the history gets heavy. During the Jewish revolt against Rome, a group of rebels made their last stand at Masada. When the Romans finally breached the walls after a years-long siege, the defenders chose to die on their own terms rather than become slaves. It's a hauntingly powerful story of resistance and freedom. Today, you can hike up via two paths, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Climbing in the Middle Eastern sun is rough. You'll be sweating in places you didn't know could sweat. Pack water, sunscreen, and maybe a portable AC unit if you can figure out how to strap one to your back. But once you're up there, looking out over the desert, it's a moment you'll never forget. Heavy, beautiful, and absolutely worth it. At number 20, we're exploring Hampi in India, the second largest medieval city after Beijing, and a place that was once so wealthy, it probably had its own cryptocurrency. Founded in the 14th century by two princes, Hampi started as a humble riverside religious center. You know, just a little weekend project. Fast forward a couple centuries, and it became the epicenter of the Karnata Empire, loaded with temples, imperial palaces, and enough gold to make a dragon jealous. Now, it's all crumbling ruins scattered across a lunar landscape of giant boulders. But here's the thing, those ruins are fascinating. You've got the Vithala temple with its famous stone chariot and musical pillars that actually produce different notes when you tap them. Yes, the pillars are a musical instrument. Ancient architects were just showing off at that point. There's also the House of Victory and the main temple with these bizarre carvings of sea creatures, which is extra weird because Hampi is landlocked. Did the sculptors just imagine what fish looked like? Did they have a very confused whale consultant? We may never know. Pro tip: rent a bicycle or a scooter to get around because this place is huge, and walking it all in the Indian heat is a one-way ticket to Heatstroke City. Number 19 is Pompeii, and if you thought your Monday was bad, just remember, at least you didn't get buried under volcanic ash while you were just trying to buy bread. In 79 AD, Mount Vesuvius, that beautiful mountain looming over the Bay of Naples, decided to absolutely ruin everyone's day by erupting. Lava, ash, and pyroclastic flows buried the entire Roman city of Pompeii and killed over 2,000 people. It's one of history's most devastating disasters, but also, and hear me out, one of the best preserved archaeological sites on Earth. Because Pompeii was buried so quickly and so completely, everything was basically frozen in time. When they finally excavated it properly in the 1970s, after discovering it by accident in the 1950s, which, oops, archaeologists found an entire city just waiting. Homes, temples, bakeries, amphitheaters, and yes, even a brothel complete with, instructional frescoes on the walls. The Romans were not shy people. Walking through Pompeii today is surreal. You can see the ruts from chariot wheels in the stone streets. You can peer into someone's kitchen. There are even preserved bodies, plaster casts made from the voids left in the ash, showing people in their final moments. It's heartbreaking and awe-inspiring at the same time. Also, those ancient Roman street food shops. Basically, the original fast food joints. The more things change, the more they stay the same. At number 18, we've got Tulum in Mexico, which is what happens when the Mayans looked at beachfront real estate and said, yeah, let's build a fortress here. Tulum is walled on 3 sides with the 4th side open to the Caribbean Sea, giving you ruins with a view. We're talking turquoise water, white sand beaches, and ancient pyramids all in one Instagram-perfect package. It's basically cheating. Dating back to 564 AD, which is old, but Tulum actually hit its prime during the 13th and 14th centuries as a major trading hub. They were moving jade, cotton, and cacao beans, which means the Mayans were trading chocolate. Honestly, I would have joined that empire just for the free samples. The main attraction is El Castillo, the big pyramid that sits dramatically on the cliff. But don't sleep on the Temple of the Frescoes, which has gorgeous murals inside. And here's the best part. Tulum has a secret beach tucked into the ruins where you can actually swim. It's surrounded by palm trees and sunbathing iguanas who are living their absolute best life. Fair warning, Tulum has become super touristy in recent years, so go early in the morning if you want to avoid the crowds, or just embrace the chaos and photobomb someone's engagement photos. Your call. Number 17 is Ephesus in Turkey, and this might be the most immersive ancient city you'll ever visit. Most archaeological sites are like museums. Look, but don't touch. Ephesus? You can touch everything. Walk on the ancient marble streets, lean against columns, sit on 2,000-year-old stone benches. It's like the world's coolest open-world video game, except it's real, and you can't respawn if you trip and fall. Ephesus was home to the Temple of Artemis, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. Unfortunately, that's long gone, but there's still plenty to see. The Library of Celsus is absolutely stunning with its 2-story facade that will make you want to read a book just to honor the vibe. Hadrian's temple is gorgeous, and then there's the public toilets. Yes, I said public toilets, and yes, you will take pictures of them. They're basically a long marble bench with holes in it where ancient Romans would sit side by side, doing their business, probably discussing politics and gladiator stats. No privacy whatsoever, just dudes being dudes. The Romans really said, why be alone when you can be socially awkward together? Oh, and the Great Theatre of Ephesus? Seats 25,000 people and has insane acoustics. It's the largest outdoor theatre in the ancient world, and you can still hear someone whisper from the stage if you're in the top row. Try it. Whisper something dramatic. You've earned it. At number 16, we're back in India for the Ellora Caves, which is what happens when Buddhist, Hindu, and Jain monks decide to have a carving competition that lasts 500 years. The Ellora Caves are a series of caves, monasteries, and temples carved directly into a basalt cliff. Out of 100 caves, only 34 are open to the public, which honestly is probably for the best because I don't have the stamina to see all 100. Dating back to 600 AD, these caves are a UNESCO World Heritage Site and a masterpiece of religious art. But the real star of the show is the Kailasa Temple. This thing is dedicated to Lord Shiva, and it's the largest monolithic sculpture in the world. Let me repeat that. They carved an entire temple out of one piece of rock. No assembly required. They just removed everything that wasn't a temple. To put it in perspective, they had to carve out 200,000 tons of rock to create this. It took multiple generations of artisans. And the detail? Intricate sculptures, massive pillars, ornate carvings everywhere. It's the kind of project where halfway through, you'd definitely be like, "Guys, are we sure we couldn't just use bricks?" Also, don't miss the Carpenter's Cave, which has a massive preaching Buddha. They call it the Carpenter's Cave because the rock looks like polished wood, which is both confusing and delightful. Number 15 is the Terracotta Army in Xi'an, China, and this one is wild. Picture this. It's 1974. Some local farmers are digging a well, minding their own business, when they hit something hard. Probably just a rock, they think. Nope, it's a life-sized clay soldier. Then they find another, and suddenly they've discovered one of the most important archaeological finds of the 20th century. Whoops. The terracotta warriors were built in the 3rd century BC for Emperor Qin Shi Huang, who apparently looked at death and said, "I'm gonna need an army for that." So they made him one, out of clay. There are around 8,000 soldiers, 130 chariots, and 670 horses buried in around 600 pits, and they've only excavated a fraction of them. Here's the kicker: every single face is unique. They're not mass-produced clones. Each one was hand-carved with individual features, different hairstyles, different expressions. It's like the ancient world's most elaborate action figure collection. The entire project took about 40 years and probably employed thousands of craftsmen, which is honestly what you'd expect for a guy who called himself the first emperor. 3 of the pits are open to the public and housed in the Museum of the Terracotta Army, which is absolutely worth the visit. Just try not to think about the fact that there are thousands more still buried underground, just waiting, sleeping, plotting their clay revenge. At number 14, we have Chichen Itza on the Yucatan Peninsula, and this place is iconic. Built by the Mayans around 600 AD, Chichen Itza was the city for about 600 years before everyone packed up and moved to Mayapan in 1221. Classic case of the new capital is trendier, but what they left behind is absolutely spectacular. The star of the show is the Temple of Kukulkan, a massive step pyramid that's basically a giant calendar made of stone. It has 4 stairways representing the 4 directions of a compass, and 365 steps, one for each day of the year. The Mayans really said, "We're gonna make math sexy." But here's where it gets really cool. During the spring and fall equinoxes, the sun creates a shadow illusion on the pyramid steps that looks like a serpent slithering down. It's a light show that happens twice a year, designed 1,500 years ago. Meanwhile, I can't even get my smart lights to sync properly. Other must-sees. The ball court, where Mayans played a game that was part sport, part ritual, and possibly fatal depending on which historian you ask. The Wall of Skulls, which is exactly what it sounds like and deeply unsettling, and the sacred cenote, a natural sinkhole where they performed human sacrifices to the rain god. So, maybe skip swimming in that one. Number 13 is the Acropolis in Athens, and if you've ever seen a picture of Greece, you've seen this place. Sitting on top of a hill overlooking Athens, the Acropolis has been there for about 2,500 years, basically judging everyone below. It was built during the reign of Pericles in the 5th century BC as a city of temples, and the crown jewel is the Parthenon, that big marble temple with all the columns that's on every postcard, poster, and college philosophy professor's laptop sticker. These temples were originally crafted from bronze and marble, and some were even gold-plated. Imagine how that must have looked catching the sunlight. The ancient Greeks did not believe in subtlety. Now, fair warning, restorations are still ongoing, so there's a good chance you'll see scaffolding. It's been under restoration for like decades, maybe centuries at this point. The Parthenon is basically in permanent construction mode, like that one highway exit near your house. A lot of the original artifacts, the sculptures, the friezes, were relocated to the Acropolis Museum to protect them from pollution and weather, and also to protect them from that British guy who borrowed a bunch of them 200 years ago and never gave them back. That's still a whole thing. Visiting the Acropolis is a pilgrimage. You'll climb the marble steps, touch the same stones ancient philosophers walked on, and feel very small and very mortal. Then you'll go get a gyro. Balance. At number 12, we're heading to Bagan in Myanmar, and this place is like if someone said, "What if we built all the temples?" Between the 11th and 13th centuries, Bagan was the capital of a powerful kingdom, and at its peak, it had over 10,000 temples, pagodas, monasteries, and stupas. 10,000. That's more temples than most cities have Starbucks. Over time, thanks to Mongol invasions, natural disasters, and general neglect, a lot of them crumbled. But 2,000 temples still remain, scattered across the horizon like a fantasy video game landscape. You can explore them on foot, by e-bike, or, and this is where it gets bucket list worthy, from a hot air balloon. Okay, so imagine this. You're floating in a hot air balloon at sunrise. Below you, the mist is rolling over the plains. As the sun rises, thousands of temple spires start glowing gold and orange. It's silent except for the occasional whoosh of the balloon's burner. It's one of those moments where you're like, oh, this is why I travel, this is the good stuff. Pro tip, book your balloon ride in advance because they sell out fast, and for good reason. It's pricey, but some experiences are worth maxing out the credit card. This is one of them. Alright, GoGo travelers, we're entering the top 11 now, and things are about to get seriously epic. We're talking pyramids, temples, and mysteries that'll make you question everything you thought you knew about ancient engineering. Let's keep this train rolling. At number 11, we've got Tikal in Guatemala, rising out of the jungle like something straight out of an adventure movie. In fact, it was in a movie. Star Wars used it as a filming location, which automatically makes it cooler. Tikal was one of the biggest and most powerful Mayan cities around 600 AD. We're talking pyramids, temples, palaces, and plazas spread across one of the largest archaeological sites in Mesoamerica. It's remote, it's jungle-covered, and it's amazing. The Temple of the Two-Headed Snake is the tallest structure here and one of the tallest pre-Columbian buildings in the Western Hemisphere. Climbing to the top is like climbing a Stairmaster designed by someone who hates you, but the 360-degree views of the rainforest canopy. Absolutely worth every burning quad muscle. Here's a fun bonus. Tikal is located in a national park, which means while you're exploring ancient ruins, you might also spot howler monkeys, toucans, and maybe even a jaguar if you're lucky, or unlucky, depending on how you feel about big cats. It's usually a day trip from Flores, and I highly recommend hiring a guide because they'll show you stuff you'd definitely miss otherwise. Plus, they know where the best photo spots are. And in this Instagram age, that's crucial intel. Number 10 is the Karnak Temple Complex in Luxor, Egypt. And this place is big. Like, bigger than most ancient cities, big. Karnak took over 2,000 years to build, with each pharaoh adding their own architectural flex to the mix. It's dotted with temples, obelisks, and shrines, all dedicated to the gods. Walking through the Avenue of Sphinxes, a road lined with Sphinx statues, makes you feel like royalty, or at least like a really well-dressed tourist. But the real showstopper is the Great Hyperstyle Hall. This is a massive room filled with 134 towering columns, some of which are 70 feet tall and covered in hieroglyphics. Standing in the middle of this hall is one of the most photographed and awe-inspiring experiences in Egypt. The scale is just incomprehensible. You feel like an ant, a very impressed ant. Don't miss the sacred lake, where priests would perform ritual cleanings, and the giant granite scarab statue nearby. Legend says, if you walk around it 7 times, you'll have good luck. I did it, still waiting for my lottery win. But hey, It's a fun tradition. Karnak is best visited early in the morning or late afternoon to avoid the heat and the crowds. Egyptian sun is no joke, people. Bring water, sunscreen, and maybe a parasol if you're fancy. At number 9, we're visiting Borobudur in Indonesia, the largest Buddhist temple in the world, made from 2 million blocks of volcanic stone. Let me say that again, 2 million blocks. Built in the 9th century, Borobudur is a massive monument consisting of 6 square platforms, topped by 3 circular platforms, all arranged in a way that represents Buddhist cosmology. As you walk up the pyramid, you're symbolically traveling from the earthly world to enlightenment, no pressure or anything. The temple eventually fell into ruin and was buried under volcanic ash and jungle growth for centuries. It wasn't rediscovered until the 1800s, and even then, restoration didn't start immediately. But once they did restore it, oh boy, it's stunning. Sunrise at Borobudur is legendary. The temple is covered in over 2,000 relief panels and 500 Buddha statues, and watching the sun rise over this ancient structure while mist rolls through the surrounding jungle, it's a spiritual experience whether you're Buddhist or not. Fair warning, you'll be waking up at like 4 a.m. for sunrise, which is a crime against humanity, but sometimes the best views require the worst wake-up times. That's just the rules of travel. Number 8 is Teotihuacan near Mexico City, and here's the twist. We have no idea who built it. The Aztecs found it abandoned centuries after it was built and named it Teotihuacan, which means the place where the gods were created. But the Aztecs didn't build it. They just showed up and were like, wow, free real estate. The actual builders remain a mystery, which is both frustrating and fascinating. In its prime, Teotihuacan was the largest city in the Western Hemisphere, with a population of over 100,000 people. It had residential compounds, pyramids, temples, and a sophisticated urban layout. The 2 main pyramids, the Temple of the Sun and the Temple of the Moon, are massive. You can climb both, and yes, your legs will hate you. The Avenue of the Dead runs through the city, connecting all the major sites. Despite the ominous name, it's actually pretty cool to walk down, imagining all the people who walked there thousands of years ago. Also check out the Temple of the Feathered Serpent, which has incredible carvings and was likely a major ritual center. Because it's so close to Mexico City, Teotihuacan gets crowded, especially on weekends. Go early, bring water, wear good shoes, and pace yourself on those pyramid climbs. Altitude plus cardio equals suffering, and I speak from experience. At number 7, we have the Moai statues on Easter Island, and these bad boys are iconic. Even if you've never heard of Easter Island, you've definitely seen these statues. You know the big stone heads with the face? Yeah, those. Except here's the thing most people don't know. They have bodies. The heads are just the most visible part, but many of them are buried up to their shoulders. Carved from volcanic ash by the Rapa Nui people between 400 and 1500 AD, there are over 800 of these statues scattered across the island. The tallest one weighs over 80 tons. They were made using simple basalt stone picks, and each one took about a year to complete. Imagine dedicating a full year of your life to carving one giant stone face. The commitment. Most of the Moai face inland, away from the sea, which has led to all kinds of theories. Some think they were built to honor ancestors. Others believe they were supposed to improve soil fertility or protect the island. Honestly, we're not entirely sure, which adds to the mystery. Easter Island is one of the most remote inhabited places on Earth, literally in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, so getting there is an adventure in itself. But if you make the journey, you'll witness something truly special. Also, the island is small enough to explore in a few days, which is good because it's basically just you, the statues, and some very judgy-looking stone faces. At number 6, we have Rome's Colosseum, and this is where things got dark. Unveiled in 80 AD, the Colosseum was a 50,000-seat amphitheater where Romans gathered for entertainment. But we're not talking about concerts or comedy shows. We're talking gladiator battles to the death, animal fights and public executions. The Romans really said, date night. let's watch people fight lions. The architecture is insane, even by modern standards. 3 levels of archways topped with Doric, Ionic, and Corinthian columns. Basically, a greatest hits of classical column styles. In its heyday, these were decorated with marble statues. The top level had a massive retractable awning called a velarium that protected spectators from the sun and rain. Yes, the Romans invented the stadium roof. You're welcome, modern sports fans. Under the arena floor was a complex system of tunnels and chambers where gladiators and animals waited before being hoisted up into the arena via trapdoors. It was basically ancient theatre tech, and it was incredibly sophisticated. Today, the Colosseum is one of the most visited sites in the world, so book tickets in advance or prepare to wait in line for hours. Also, there are guys dressed as gladiators outside who will pose for photos, but they'll charge you for it. Just be aware. They're not actual ancient Romans, despite what they might imply. Number 5 is the Great Wall of China. And honestly, it's called Great for a reason. Spreading through 15 Chinese provinces, the Great Wall is the longest man-made structure in the world. It's not one continuous wall. It's actually a series of walls, fortifications and moats built over the course of 6 Chinese dynasties. It took centuries and countless laborers to build, all to keep out invaders from the north. The wall is over 2,000 years old, and while some sections have crumbled into ruin, others have been restored and are open to tourists. The most popular section is near Beijing at Badaling, but if you want fewer crowds, check out Mutianyu or Jinshanling. Here's a fun fact. If you wanted to walk the entire length of the Great Wall, it would take approximately 18 months of non-stop walking. That's assuming you don't stop for snacks, bathroom breaks, or existential crises. So maybe just visit a section or two. There's a myth that you can see the Great Wall from space. Spoiler alert, you can't. It's long, but it's not that wide. Still, standing on the wall, looking out at these ancient fortifications snaking across mountains and valleys, it's humbling. You realize how much effort went into protecting a civilization, and you get a serious leg workout. Double win. At number 4, we have Petra in Jordan, the Rose City, and this place is unreal. Carved out of pink sandstone cliffs by the Nabateans over 2,000 years ago, Petra was a thriving desert trading hub. It's tucked between the Red Sea and the Dead Sea, and back in the day, it was filled with lush gardens, palatial houses, and bustling markets. Now, it's a stunning maze of rock-carved caves, temples, and tombs. To get to Petra, you walk through the Sikhu, a narrow gorge with towering cliffs on either side that feels like you're entering another world. And then, bam! You turn a corner and there it is, the treasury. Al-Khazne. This 2-story facade carved directly into the rose-coloured rock face is one of the most beautiful and iconic landmarks on Earth. Fun fact, you've definitely seen the treasury before even if you've never been to Petra. It was in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Remember when Indy goes searching for the Holy Grail? Yeah, that's Petra. The interior is actually pretty plain compared to the exterior. No golden cups or ancient knights, sadly. But the facade alone is worth the trip. Beyond the treasury, Petra has so much more to explore. The monastery is another massive carved structure that requires climbing 800 steps, but it's less crowded than the treasury. There are royal tombs, a Roman-style theatre, and countless caves. You can easily spend 2 or 3 days here. Pro tip: you can ride a camel through Petra if you want the full Lawrence of Arabia experience. Or you can walk like a normal person. Both options are valid. Alright, we're in the top 3 now, and at number 3 we have Machu Picchu in Peru, the lost city of the Incas and the ultimate bucket list destination. Perched high in the Andes Mountains, Machu Picchu was built in the 15th century and then mysteriously abandoned. When the Spanish conquistadors showed up in the 1500s, they never found it. It stayed hidden in the mountains for centuries until American explorer Hiram Bingham stumbled across it in 1911. Imagine being the guy who discovers an entire lost city. That's a resume builder. What makes Machu Picchu so impressive? besides the fact that it's stunningly beautiful, is the engineering. It's estimated that 60% of the construction is underground, primarily for drainage and fortification. The Incas built this city on a mountain ridge, with no modern tools, no wheels, and no written blueprints. Just vibes and stone. The city has temples, plazas, residential areas, agricultural terraces, and even a sophisticated water management system. The precision of the stonework is insane. Stones fitted together so perfectly that you can't slip a knife blade between them. No mortar, just skill. Today, you can only reach Machu Picchu by foot or by train, which adds to the adventure. Many people hike the Inca Trail, which takes 4 days and requires permits that sell out months in advance. Or you can take the train to Aguascalientes and then a bus up the mountain. Either way, when you finally see those ancient ruins emerge from the mist with the peak of Huayna Picchu in the background, it's a moment that'll stick with you forever. Don't forget to visit the Machu Picchu Museum in Aguascalientes for context and artifacts. It'll deepen your appreciation for what you're seeing. At number 2, we have Angkor in Cambodia, and this is the big one, people. Angkor was the capital of the Khmer Empire between the 9th and 15th centuries, and in its prime, it was one of the most powerful cities in Southeast Asia. The centerpiece is Angkor Wat, the largest religious monument on Earth. It's so iconic that it's literally on Cambodia's flag. Angkor Wat at sunrise is a rite of passage for travelers. You wake up stupid early, join hundreds of other tourists at the reflecting pool, and watch the sun rise behind the temple's 5 towers. And yeah, it's crowded and touristy, but when that sun hits and the temple lights up golden against the pink sky, you forget about all the other people. It's pure magic. But here's the thing. Angkor isn't just Angkor Wat. The Angkor Archaeological Park covers over 150 square miles and includes more than 1,000 temples scattered through forests, rice fields, and villages. You could spend weeks here and still not see everything. Ta Prohm, aka the Tomb Raider Temple, is where massive tree roots have grown over and through the ruins, creating this incredible fusion of nature and architecture. It looks like something out of a fantasy movie, and yes, it was used in Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, so you can live out your Angelina Jolie dreams. Then there's Bayon Temple, with its 216 giant stone faces smiling down at you from every angle. It's simultaneously beautiful and slightly unnerving, like you're being watched by ancient gods who are mildly amused by your existence. Rent a tuk-tuk for the day, bring water and snacks, and prepare for sensory overload. Angkor is one of the most impressive archaeological sites on the planet, and it deserves multiple days of exploration. And finally, at number 1, we have the Pyramids of Giza in Cairo, Egypt. The OG ancient wonder, the Big Kahuna, the Pyramid Daddy. Built over 4,500 years ago as tombs for the pharaohs of the 4th dynasty, the pyramids are one of the most mysterious and impressive structures ever created. We still don't fully understand how they were built. These aren't small structures, people. The Great Pyramid of Khufu was the tallest man-made structure in the world for almost 4,000 years. The precision is mind-blowing. The base of the Great Pyramid is level to within 2 centimeters. The sides are aligned to true north with incredible accuracy, and they're made from over 2 million stone blocks, each weighing 2.5 to 15 tons. How did they cut them? How did they transport them? How did they stack them so perfectly? Ramps, pulleys, aliens? Okay, probably not aliens, but it's fun to think about. Inside the pyramids are burial chambers where pharaohs were laid to rest, surrounded by treasure for the afterlife. Unfortunately, tomb robbers got there first in most cases, so a lot of the good stuff is long gone. But the chambers themselves are still incredible to explore, even if they're empty. And then there's the Sphinx, that massive limestone statue with a lion's body and a human head, just chilling. It's been there for millennia, staring at the horizon, judging everyone. Don't forget to take the mandatory kissing photo with the Sphinx. It's touristy, it's silly, and it's absolutely required. The pyramids of Giza are literally on the edge of Cairo. You can see them from certain neighborhoods. They're not some remote desert wonder. They're right there next to a Pizza Hut, which is honestly hilarious and also weirdly convenient. Visiting the pyramids is overwhelming in the best way. You're standing in front of structures that have existed for longer than most civilizations. They've witnessed the rise and fall of empires. They've survived wars, earthquakes, and the passage of time itself. And you get to be there, in that moment, connecting with thousands of years of human history. And there you have it, GoGo travelers. 25 ancient ruins that prove our ancestors were absolute legends. From cliff palaces to pyramid tombs, from stone armies to jungle temples, these places are reminders that humans have always been ambitious, creative, and a little bit insane. So here's my challenge to you. Pick one of these sites, just one, and start planning a trip. Research flights, save your money, request time off work, make it happen. Because here's the truth. You can watch a million travel videos, but nothing compares to standing in front of these places yourself, feeling the weight of history, and realizing how small you are in the grand scheme of things. Which of these ruins have you visited? Which one is at the top of your bucket list? Drop a comment below and let me know. And if you enjoyed this video, smash that like button, subscribe to GoGo Travel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an adventure. I've got more epic destinations coming your way. Also, if you want to support the channel, check out the link in the description for our Patreon. Your support helps us create bigger, better content and visit even more incredible places. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep feeding your wanderlust. This is GoGo Travel, reminding you that the world is big, beautiful, and waiting for you. Now get out there and go.